CEOs, you've given your marketing team a big budget to spend, but somehow you feel like it might be going off the rails and you're not getting the most bang for your buck. You're probably not. In this video, I'm going to tell you about where I often find hundreds of thousands of dollars of wasted marketing spend, how to plug those leaks, and how to find it. There was a middle market company that I was working with, and they had their CEO and their CMO both making marketing decisions. So the CEO had a good relationship with somebody from the Chamber of Commerce that they were working with. It was an advertising company, and that advertising company had promised them so many odd things. So they started working with them and spending money because they were trying to build that relationship with them and make it a reciprocal relationship. Now, the CMO came in and they had a relationship with a completely different agency that they had worked with before at other companies and in other projects. They were proven, they trusted them. So they were wanting to spend money on the other side with this other agency. So we have two sides of the company spending money out of the marketing budget for digital advertising. Why? I went in, I noticed this. I had to have conversations with both the CEO and the CMO to make sure that they were understanding that, hey, you really could align this budget, put those things together, and save yourselves about $100,000. Now, that may not be happening at your company, and it's probably not happening at most companies. At least I hope not. But in this video, I'm going to share with you ways that you can uncover $100,000 in wasted spend. First of all, I'll do an audit with your company. So I come in, I find out all of the places that you are spending money for your marketing, whether it's technology, advertising spend, even overhead, even headcount within your department. We'll look at all of the places that you're spending marketing dollars, and we'll figure out where is your budget going. Step 2 is we prioritize the things that you really need versus the bells and whistles and the shiny objects that may be cool to have. So if you're really trying to cut budget, we may go really lean and we may prioritize those things that are going to keep your marketing department operable and profitable. And we may scrap some of the things that you just don't need, whether that be wasted technology, whether that be headcount within your departments, that somebody is doing a multiple job or there's redundancy there, or even if there's marketing spend, kind of like I spoke to earlier in the video, where there's two places where you're spending marketing dollars and they're going in a different direction, but they're there to do the same thing. We'll start prioritizing those things and making sure we find out where you really need to spend and where you can cut back. Then from there, we look at what was your budget from the beginning of the year? Where are you tracking now? And if you're still on track or if you're over budget. And then we make alignments and adjustments from there. Prime example is a client that I had that was a law firm. So I worked with them to uncover quite a bit of money in their marketing budget because they were just spending right after left, just spending money out the door. So I contracted with them halfway throughout the year. And we realized that they were spending a lot of money on out-of-home advertising, and they had no way to track whether or not it was working for them or not. So if there's something that's being spent and you can't track it back to a return on investment, that's the first place I'm likely going to tell you to cut your budget, because you don't know whether it's working or not. So you could be just spending money frivolously, or it could be working. But if you don't know, we don't know. So we might as well cut it and start from scratch anyway. So, or reallocate that money to another place in your budget. With that, I hope that that particular client save about $50,000 in billboards and bus signs and out of home. And they were doing those things because why? An agency came along and said, hey, we work with lawyers and this is what we do for them. Didn't you see your competitors sign on a billboard? And now they feel like they have to do the same thing. But just because your competitors are doing one thing does not mean you need to do the same. Now, once you've uncovered where marketing dollars are being spent unnecessarily, it's time to do the hard work, dig in, and plug those holes. And here's how you can do that. First, understand that most of the time that you're spending money and you have to cut something off, there's going to be a psychological battle in your mind between, do I really need this? And maybe I can keep this, and maybe it's not so bad. But you have to take your feelings off the table. This is just money, and it's not your money, it's the company's money. And your goal and your priority is always to do what's best for the company. Sometimes it may be attached to somebody's passion project. They're really gung-ho about this thing. They really championed it. They made a complete strategy around it, and now you're spending money, but you recognize that this money is going in the wrong place. I suggest highly that you have a conversation with that person if they're on your team, or even if they're your CEO or another stakeholder in the company. Help them to understand and build the case as to why you're cutting that spend or why you're cutting back on that spend. You may or may not win that battle, to be honest, if it's someone who is higher up than you. But if it's within your department, have the conversation, because you don't want to alienate someone that's working for you and now they feel like they're not valued or what they bring to the table isn't valued, and you're going behind their back and you're doing things and cutting them off at the knees. When working with my clients to make sure that their marketing is aligned, one of the first things that I do is work with them on their budgeting and their spend. I have uncovered hundreds of thousands of dollars working with my clients in their marketing strategies and working on their budgets. And you can get the same framework in my Marketing Harmony checklist and guide. There's a link in the description below. Go ahead and click it. It is free to download. It is free to use. And you too can uncover some money in your marketing budget. Now, once you start uncovering where marketing spend could be going awry, I know your first instinct is probably going to go scorched earth, get rid of all these things, shut it down, let's burn it down and start from scratch. That's not always realistic. And quite honestly, that's not always the empathetic way to be a leader. So if you recognize that maybe there's headcount on your team that is redundant, or there are some things that could be realigned, and maybe someone on your department is really gung-ho about something, they're really passionate about something, and you're spending money on it, and you want to pull the plug on it, honest feedback is to be empathetic with the people that you're working with. Because even more than the money that you're spending, the people that you work with and that you're leading are the value to your marketing department. So you don't want to alienate them. You don't want to create a situation where you make it hard for them to work with you, to trust you, or to even follow your leadership. So think about where people are, meet them where they are, find out what it is that they're passionate about and what really drives them. And if there's a way to feed that need another way, and make sure that you continue to hold on to that trust in that relationship. But don't just go in and just start pulling the plug on things and making it more difficult for yourself in the long run as a leader of your marketing department, because that's what'll happen. All right, guys, in this video, I spoke to you about how to plug your leaky marketing spend. But in this video right here, I spoke to you about where to find that leaky marketing spend. I'll see you over there.